In 7 seconds, I'm going to show you something that shouldn't be possible. Actually, wait. First, you need to know that this homeless man has performed over 400 surgeries, but nobody in this hospital knows that. In exactly 4 minutes and 13 seconds, 19-year-old Emily Morrison will start dying. The surgeon trying to save her will make 3 critical mistakes, and the only person who can fix them is about to be thrown out by security. These hands have saved 112 lives, but that's not the shocking part. The shocking part is what Dr. Trevor Ashton said to him 23 minutes before begging for his help. Before I tell you what those 7 words were, and trust me, they'll make you angry, let's go back. 11:24 p.m., March 17, 2024, St. Augustine Medical Center, Chicago. Marcus Webb hadn't eaten in 56 hours. Not from withdrawal, from hunger. Purple Heart recipient, 4 tours in Afghanistan, currently sleeping under the Harrison Bridge. Net worth, -$47. Medical knowledge, priceless. He's standing in the emergency room holding his veteran's ID like a shield. I just need something to eat. The nurse doesn't even look up. But in exactly 3 minutes, someone else will notice him, and what that person says will echo through this hospital for the next 2 years. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Right now, someone in Tokyo is judging a homeless person. Someone in London is walking past a veteran. Before you find out why that matters, hit subscribe, because in the next 60 seconds, everything changes. 11:27 p.m. Dr. Trevor Ashton, 29 years old, Johns Hopkins medical degree, $280,000 salary. He's wearing a watch worth more than Marcus has seen in 3 years. He walks in, texting his girlfriend about his brilliant diagnosis. He smells Marcus before he sees him. Jesus, what's that smell? But Trevor doesn't stop there. What he says next will haunt him for exactly 742 days. Is this the ER or a homeless shelter? 17 people hear him say it. Marcus doesn't flinch. He's heard worse. You want a handout? There's a McDonald's 3 blocks away. Trevor has no idea he's talking to someone who's performed surgery in active war zones. I apologize for bothering you, doctor. Marcus turns to leave. But then Trevor says the 7 words. That's what I thought, another fake veteran. 3 full seconds of silence. What unit were you in, doctor? I didn't serve. I was smart enough to... Stop. Before Marcus responds, and his response will give you chills, you need to know something. Marcus has a particular set of skills. Skills that kept 43 soldiers alive in Kandahar. Skills that Dr. Trevor Ashton is about to desperately need. Because in exactly 22 minutes, this will happen. But first, Marcus's response. You were smart enough to become a doctor, while men like me were smart enough to keep people alive without anesthesia, without equipment, without hope. Trevor laughs, actually laughs. Security. 11:31 p.m. Security arrives in 12 seconds. 2 large guards. Marcus doesn't resist. They walk him to the door. 11:47 p.m. Security camera 3 captures the moment. In exactly 4 minutes, everything will change. But first, Trevor makes another mistake. I want him banned from the premises. Remember that. Trevor specifically requests Marcus be banned, because in 11 minutes, Trevor will be screaming for him to come back. Wait, before the ambulance arrives, drop a comment. Where are you watching from? USA? UK? Canada? Trinidad? South Africa? Jamaica? I see you all. Now, have you ever judged someone by their appearance? Be honest, because what happens next proves we all make the same mistake. 11:51 p.m. The doors explode open. 19-year-old female, GSW to the abdomen. But wait, there's something about this patient you need to know. Actually, first let me tell you what GSW means. Gunshot wound, close range, 9 millimeter. She's losing blood faster than they can replace it. What's her name? Emily Morrison. That name means nothing to you yet, but Dr. Morrison is the chief of surgery. This is his daughter. Where's Dr. Morrison? Car accident, 40 minutes out. Dr. Peters? In surgery. Dr. Weeks? Cardiac emergency. All eyes turn to Trevor. I've never done solo trauma surgery. She has maybe 8 minutes. Trevor has 2 choices. Let her die or try and probably kill her anyway. Get her to OR 3. They run, actually run, but there's something about Emily Morrison that Trevor doesn't know yet, something that will matter in exactly 6 minutes. Operating room 3, 11:58 p.m. Emily on the table, prepped, draped, ready. He's done this in simulation 20 times, but simulation doesn't bleed. Perfect midline cut. Blood. Everywhere. Not normal bleeding, arterial bleeding. Jesus. BP 80/50. Trevor's hands go in, searching, searching. Where is it? Where is it? The suction can't keep up. 70/40. She's coding. Trevor freezes, completely freezes. I can't do this. But wait, remember Marcus? The nurse, Carmen, she remembered something. His veteran's ID, the unit insignia. 75th Ranger Regiment, combat medic. That means something specific. Rangers don't just have medics, they have trauma surgeons. Oh my God, he's done this before. Someone get him now. Door bursts open. Marcus, still in dirty clothes, still smelling like the street. What the hell? He's a combat trauma surgeon. Him? But Marcus isn't listening. He's looking at Emily. His entire demeanor changes. How long has she been bleeding? 28 minutes. Gloves, now. The nurse hesitates. Now. She hands Marcus gloves. 7 steps to the table. No hesitation. His hands know exactly where to go. Bullet entered here, passed through descending colon. There, left iliac artery, that's your bleeder. How did you... Seen this exact pattern 47 times. 43 lived. Curved hemostat, small one. Trevor's hands move automatically. Marcus clamps the bleeder. BP stabilizing. 2-0 silk suture. His stitches are perfect, machine perfect. But wait, there's something about Marcus's hands you haven't noticed. Shrapnel scars, burn marks. Each scar has saved a life. Colon tear next. Trevor can only watch. 7 minutes, total. She's stable. 120/80, heart rate normal. The room is dead silent. Marcus steps back, pulls off his gloves. You had every advantage. Clean room, equipment, assistance.
I did this in Fallujah, in dirt, in Kandahar, under fire, in Helmand, in the dark. You couldn't handle it. Why? I don't know. Because you've never been desperate, never had someone die because you failed, never been hungry enough to focus past fear. But then, Marcus says something unexpected. You want to know why I'm homeless? No one speaks. Because I saved a kid who became a suicide bomber. The room gasps. 8 years old, perfect appendectomy. 2 days later, he killed 6 of my men. I never recovered. PTSD, medical discharge, 100% disabled. Lost job after job, panic attacks. Now I sleep under a bridge. The VA gives me $1,400 a month. Rent here is $2,400. So yes, doctor, I'm homeless. Not because I'm worthless, because the system that used me up didn't care what happened after. Marcus heads for the door. Wait! Marcus stops, but doesn't turn. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Don't apologize to me. Apologize to every person you've judged by their appearance. Marcus leaves. Trevor runs, still covered in Emily's blood, into the March cold, spinning, looking. There, half a block away. Wait! Trevor grabs Marcus's arm, military instinct, almost strikes, stops himself. What do you want? I want to understand how someone like you ends up. Bitter laugh, hollow. You really want to know? Please. Fine, but we walk. Into the Chicago night. Joined at 18. Mom was an addict, Dad was gone. Promised me purpose. Scored high on aptitude. They made me a medic. Fallujah, 2004, 20 years old. IED hit our convoy. I was suddenly alone, 40 men depending on me. Femoral artery, 5 minutes to save him. I did it. Word spread. Webb has magic hands. 4 tours, 12 years, 112 lives saved. But then, Helmand Province happened. 8-year-old, needed appendectomy. Village elder asked me specifically. Perfect, textbook. Kid smiled at me after. 2 days later, he walked into our camp, wearing a suicide vest. 6 soldiers died, men I'd saved before. I broke. Nightmares, panic attacks. Next surgery, I froze. A man died because I couldn't move. They sent me home. Tried working, ER tech, 3 months. Car backfired, I hit the floor. Clinic job, 2 months. Started drinking to sleep. Lost apartment during a psych hold. Eventually just stopped trying. Easier to be homeless than pretend to be normal. They reach a small park, sit on a bench under streetlights. You're not broken. Tell that to society. What if I could change that? You can't. Morrison's daughter is alive because of you. When he finds out, I'm homeless, no credentials. You have something better. Experience no medical school can teach. Let me talk to Morrison. But first, something happens that changes everything. Wait, before Morrison arrives, before the biggest shock, hit subscribe if you haven't. Share this now. Someone you know needs this story. Drop your location in comments. Let's see how far this reaches. 6 hours later, 6 a.m., Morrison enters the recovery room, sees Emily, alive, stable, breathing. He collapses, actually collapses. Trevor enters. Dr. Morrison? Trevor tells him everything. His failure, his panic, the homeless veteran. Silence. Then, where is this man? On-call room. Gave him my key. Show me now. They find Marcus, sitting on the bed, awake. Can't sleep. Bed's too soft after concrete. Mr. Webb. Marcus fans, military instinct. You saved my daughter. Did my job. You did what my surgeons couldn't. I've read your military file. 112 saves, bronze stars, silver stars. I want to hire you. I'm homeless. I don't care where you sleep. I care what you know. Trauma surgery consultant, $80,000 to start. Full medical, mental health coverage, staff apartment, free until you're ready. Why? Because worth has nothing to do with address, and because we throw out 40 veterans a year. Maybe seeing one save lives will change that. Long pause. Then, when do I start?
2 years later. Operating room 3. Same room where everything changed. Marcus stands in clean scrubs with St. Augustine's Trauma Surgery Department embroidered on the chest. He's training a young resident, confident, fresh from Yale Medical School. The resident makes a small mistake during a routine procedure. Nothing catastrophic yet, but potentially serious if left unchecked. Marcus stops everything. What did you just do wrong? His voice is calm, measured, not angry.
The resident looks at the surgical field, confusion crossing his face. I'm not sure. Look again. Really look. What do you see? The resident leans closer. His eyes widen as realization hits. Oh God, I almost nicked the... But you didn't. You know why? Because I stopped you. That's what we do here. We don't let pride kill patience. We ask for help. We admit mistakes. We check each other. The resident is shaking now, the weight of what could have happened settling on his shoulders. I'm sorry. You should have nothing. Marcus interrupts gently. You're learning. I made the same mistake during my first solo surgery. The difference is someone stopped me before I killed someone. Now I'm stopping you. Marcus finishes the surgery while teaching every step, explaining not just what he's doing, but why and what to watch for next time. Afterward, in the locker room, the resident asks the question Marcus knew was coming. Is it true that you used to be homeless? Marcus pulls off his surgical cap, running a hand through his hair. Yes. How did you go from that to this? It's a question Marcus has been asked dozens of times, by residents, by nurses, by other staff. Each time he considers how to answer, how to convey a truth that most people can't comprehend until they've lived it. I didn't go from that to this, Marcus finally says, meeting the young doctor's eyes. I was always this. People just couldn't see it because they were looking at where I lived instead of who I was. The resident is quiet, processing. But how do you live with it? He asks after a moment. The memories, the PTSD. I heard about what happened in Helmand Province. Marcus sits down on the bench, suddenly tired. Not physically, the surgery was routine, but in the way that remembering always makes him tired. I don't live with it, he says. I live alongside it. Some days are better. Some days I still have panic attacks when I hear helicopters. Some days I still wake up at 3 a.m. thinking I'm back in Kandahar. Some days I still hear mortars that aren't there. He looks up at the young resident. But I have a purpose again. I save lives. I teach doctors like you how to save lives, and that makes the bad days bearable. Not easy, bearable. The resident nods slowly. Can I tell you something? Marcus asks. Something I wish someone had told me earlier in my career, earlier in my life? Please. Worth doesn't come from what you achieve, or what credentials you have, or how much money you make. It comes from who you are. I saved 112 lives in combat, Bronze Stars, Silver Stars, medals and commendations. Then I spent 3 years sleeping under a bridge, invisible to everyone who walked past. Marcus stands, gathering his things. My worth didn't change between those two states, not one bit. Just society's perception of it changed. You're learning this now, early in your career. That's a gift. I had to lose everything to learn it. He heads for the door, then pauses. The patient doesn't care where you went to school. They don't care about your test scores or your salary or your zip code. They care about one thing. Can you save them? And sometimes, more often than we want to admit, the person who can save them is the person everyone else walked past. The resident stays sitting as Marcus leaves, probably thinking about all the people he's walked past in his life. Marcus changes into street clothes in the private changing room, a luxury he still hasn't gotten used to. Good clothes now, bought from real stores, with money from real paychecks that arrive with predictable regularity. He has a bank account, a credit card, an apartment lease in his name. The small victories of a normal life that most people take for granted. His apartment is 10-minute walk from the hospital. Small, just a studio, but it's his. Clean, safe, quiet when he needs it to be. On the wall are 2 framed photos. The first, Marcus at 22 in his army uniform, younger and harder looking, holding a medal he'd just been awarded. His eyes in that photo still held hope, still believed the world made sense. The second, Marcus at 52 in surgical scrubs, older and scarred in ways that don't show in photographs, standing next to Emily Morrison at her college graduation. She's holding her diploma from Northwestern University. He's holding the card she gave him that day, the one that said, "To the man who gave me a future, thank you for seeing me when you had every reason to look away." That photo was taken 6 months ago. Emily visits once a month, brings him coffee, tells him about medical school applications. She wants to be a trauma surgeon, because of him, she says, because she wants to save people the way he saved her. Marcus told her she should do it because she loves it, not because she feels obligated. She told him she can do both. His phone buzzes. A text from Trevor. "Dinner tonight? Maria's? Bringing someone I want you to meet. Another vet who needs help." Marcus smiles. Trevor does this now, once or twice a month, finds veterans who are struggling, introduces them to Marcus, sees if he can get them on their feet. They've placed 7 veterans in positions at St. Augustine's over the past 2 years. Janitor, security, medical transport, one in the IT department who turned out to be brilliant with computers. All people who were invisible until someone decided to see them. Marcus texts back. "Time?" Trevor responds. 7 p.m. Her name's Rachel, Marine Corps, 2 tours Iraq, working 3 part-time jobs, living in her car. Has medical training but can't pass the interview process because she freezes when people ask about the gap in her employment. Marcus knows that story, knows it intimately. "I'll be there," he texts. "Does she know we're meeting?" Yes, she's terrified, thinks it's charity. It's not charity, it's correction. That's what I told her. Marcus pockets his phone and heads out into the afternoon sun. It's April now, still cold but with the promise of spring. Chicago is starting to wake up from winter. He walks past the emergency room entrance where, 2 years ago, he stood begging for food, where Trevor Ashton mocked him, where security escorted him out. That entrance looks different now. There's a plaque on the wall, installed 3 months ago at Dr. Morrison's insistence. In recognition that worth is not determined by circumstance, this hospital commits to seeing the value in every person who enters, regardless of their present condition. Dedicated to Marcus Webb and all those we failed to see before him. Marcus didn't want the plaque, thought it was too much, too public. But Morrison insisted, said it wasn't about Marcus, it was about making a promise the hospital had to keep. The security guards who work that entrance now are different from the ones who threw Marcus out. Those 2 quit within a month of the story spreading through the hospital, couldn't handle the shame, the looks from other staff who'd heard what happened. The new guards nod respectfully as Marcus passes. One of them, James, is a veteran himself, Army. Marcus helped him get the job. "Evening, Doc," James says. "Not a doctor," Marcus reminds him, like he always does, "just a consultant." "You're more of a doctor than half the people with MD after their name," James says. "You're going to help another one tonight. Meeting someone at 7. Good luck, you're doing good work." Marcus walks home through streets he used to fear, past alleys where he used to sleep, past the bridge where he spent 3 years invisible to the world rushing past above him. Sometimes he stops there, under the Harrison Street Bridge, and sits for a few minutes. Not because he misses it, he doesn't, but because he needs to remember what it felt like to be nothing in the eyes of everyone that mattered. Needs to remember so he never forgets what Rachel is feeling right now, what every veteran living in their car feels, what every person society has decided isn't worth the investment feels. Today he doesn't stop. He goes straight home, showers, changes into the nice jeans and button shirt that still feel like a costume sometimes. At 6:45 p.m., he leaves for Maria's, a small Italian place 3 blocks from the hospital where the staff often gather. The owner, Maria herself, is a 60-year-old woman who came to America from Naples 40 years ago with nothing. She likes Marcus because she sees in him what she was, someone who had to fight for every inch of respect. Trevor is already there, sitting in a corner booth. Across from him is a woman in her mid-30s, short dark hair, wearing clothes that are clean but worn. Her hands are wrapped around a water glass like it's an anchor. Rachel. Marcus recognizes the look in her eyes immediately. The same look he used to see in his own reflection. The look of someone who's waiting to be disappointed, to be judged, to be found lacking. He slides into the booth next to Trevor. "Rachel, this is Marcus Webb," Trevor says. "Marcus, Rachel Santos." "Ma'am," Marcus says, offering his hand. Rachel shakes it. Her grip is firm, military-trained. "Thank you for meeting with me. Dr. Ashton said you might be able to help, but I don't want to take up your time if—" "You're not taking up anything," Marcus interrupts gently. "Tell me about your service." Over the next hour, Rachel tells her story. It's a story Marcus has heard variations of 100 times. Enlisted at 19, deployed twice, combat medic like he was, saw things no one should see, did things she's still processing, came home to a country that thanked her for her service, and then forgot she existed. Couldn't hold jobs because of PTSD, panic attacks in crowds, couldn't sleep without nightmares, started self-medicating, lost her apartment, lost her car, lost her sense of self. The VA tried to help, but the system is overwhelmed. 6-month wait times for therapy, medications that helped sometimes and made things worse other times. No one really understanding that you can't just adjust back to civilian life when civilian life feels like another planet. She's been living in her car for 4 months, working 3 part-time jobs, retail, fast food, warehouse work, to save enough for a deposit on an apartment. But every time she gets close, something happens. The car needs repair, she gets sick and misses work, the careful math falls apart. "I've applied for medical positions," Rachel says. "I have the training, I have the experience, but every interview they ask about the gaps in my employment, and I freeze. I can't explain without sounding like I'm making excuses." Marcus nods. He knows. "What do you want?" he asks. Rachel looks confused. "What do I want?" "Not what would be nice, not what you need. What do you actually want? If you could have any job, any life, what would it look like?" Rachel is quiet for a long moment. Marcus can see her fighting between the truth and what she thinks she's supposed to say, what sounds realistic, what won't make her seem ungrateful. "I want to work in emergency medicine," she finally says. "I want to save lives. That's what I was good at. That's when I felt like I mattered, when someone was bleeding and I could stop it, when someone was dying and I could keep them alive long enough to get real help. That's when I felt purpose." Her voice cracks on the last word. "Okay, then that's what we'll do. But I can't—" "Dr. Morrison is expanding the trauma consultation program. We currently have 5 consultants, all veterans with combat medical experience. We're authorized to hire 3 more. Starting salary is $65,000, full benefits, medical, dental, mental health coverage through the hospital's Employee Assistance Program, and there's emergency housing available through our partnership with the Veterans Recovery Center." Rachel stares at him. "You're offering me a job?" "I'm offering you an opportunity to prove what you can do. There will be a 90-day probationary period. You'll work alongside me and the other consultants, learning our protocols, our systems. You'll assist in trauma cases, teach residents what you know, help us build better emergency response procedures." "Why?" Rachel asks. "You don't know me. You don't know if I'm any good. What if I fail?" "Then you fail, same as anyone else who takes a job and it doesn't work out. But I don't think you will. You know why?" Rachel shakes her head. "Because you're still fighting.
You've been living in your car for 4 months, working 3 jobs, and you're still trying to find a way back to the work you love. That's not someone who fails. That's someone who refuses to quit. Marcus leans forward. 2 years ago, I was sleeping under the Harrison Street Bridge. I hadn't eaten in 3 days. I came to St. Augustine's begging for food, and Dr. Ashton here had me thrown out. Trevor winces at the memory, but doesn't interrupt. That night, a girl was dying on an operating table, and Trevor couldn't save her. They brought me back because someone remembered I was a combat medic. I did the surgery, saved her life, and Dr. Morrison offered me the same thing I'm offering you now, a chance. Not charity, not pity, a chance to prove that worth has nothing to do with where you sleep or how much money is in your bank account. A chance to show that the skills you earned in the worst places on earth have value in the best hospitals in America. Rachel's eyes are wet. She blinks hard. What do I need to do? Show up Monday morning, 7 a.m. at the trauma department. Ask for Dr. Morrison. He's expecting you. Everything else we'll figure out as we go. Rachel nods, not trusting her voice. They order dinner, talk about easier things. Trevor tells stories about his own journey from arrogant resident to someone who actually listens now. Maria brings out extra pasta, like she always does when she knows someone hasn't been eating well. At 9 p.m., Rachel leaves with a business card and address for the Veterans Recovery Center where she can get emergency housing tonight and hope for the first time in longer than she can remember. After she's gone, Trevor looks at Marcus. You're good at this. I'm just doing what Morrison did for me, what you did for me by not giving up on me. Still, you're changing lives, Marcus. We're correcting a mistake. Society's mistake. The military trains people, uses them up, and then tosses them aside. We're just refusing to let that be the end of their story. They pay the bill and walk out into the cool April night. Marcus, you working tomorrow? Morning shift, 6 a.m., trauma consultation on a construction accident coming in. The one from the high-rise collapse? Yeah. Complex crush injuries, probably looking at compartment syndrome, possible amputation, messy. You've done those before. Dozens, Marcus confirms. Helmand was full of IED crush injuries. Same principles apply. They reach the corner where they part ways, Trevor heading north to his condo, Marcus heading east to his apartment. Marcus, Trevor says, stopping him. Thank you. For what? For not giving up on me. That night when you could have walked away and let me fail, let Emily die, you came back. You saved her, but you also saved me. Saved me from becoming the kind of doctor who thinks credentials matter more than competence, the kind of person who thinks worth is measured in salary.
Marcus considers this. I didn't save you, he says. Desperation saved you. Made you desperate enough to see what was always there. I was always capable of saving that girl. You just weren't capable of seeing me until you had no other choice. That's what I mean. You taught me to see. Then teach someone else. That's how this works. I was saved, so I save others. You were taught, so you teach others. Rachel will be saved Monday morning, and eventually she'll save someone else. That's the chain. That's how we fix the system, one person at a time. They shake hands and part ways. Marcus walks home under streetlights, past late-night convenience stores and closed shops. The city at night is different from the city during the day, quieter, more honest somehow. He thinks about Rachel sleeping in her car for the last time, about the 7 other veterans they've placed who are rebuilding their lives, about Emily Morrison about to start medical school, about all the residents he's trained who will go on to train others, about the ripple effect of one moment when Carmen Rodriguez remembered that a homeless man was once a soldier. Back in his apartment, Marcus makes tea and sits by the window looking out over the city.
Tomorrow he'll get up at 5 a.m., go to the hospital, save lives. Next week he'll train new residents. Next month there will be another Rachel, another veteran who needs someone to see them. And he'll keep doing it because someone once did it for him. Because worth doesn't change based on circumstance. Because the person sleeping in a car tonight might be the person who saves your life tomorrow. Because everyone, absolutely everyone, deserves to be seen. Marcus finishes his tea, brushes his teeth, and goes to bed. The mattress is still too soft sometimes. The room is still too quiet. But he's learned to live with comfort the same way he learned to live with hardship, by accepting that both are temporary, both are just conditions, not identities. He falls asleep thinking about the surgery tomorrow, about Rachel starting Monday, about the young resident he's training who reminds him of his younger self. He falls asleep knowing that tomorrow he'll wake up and do what he does best, save lives that everyone else thought were beyond saving, including, once upon a time, his own. Before you go, before you click away to the next video, I need you to sit with this story for just a moment longer. Right now, there's a Marcus Webb in Seoul, in Mumbai, in Sao Paulo, in your city, in your neighborhood. Someone with skills, with knowledge, with value that no one sees because they're looking at circumstances instead of capability. Someone who's sleeping in their car tonight, or under a bridge, or in a shelter, who could change your life if you just stopped long enough to see them. This isn't a fairy tale. This isn't fiction pretending to be inspiration. This is the reality that we all participate in every single day. The reality where we decide who deserves our attention based on how they're dressed, where they live, what they smell like. Marcus Webb was always brilliant, always capable, always valuable. He just needed someone desperate enough to notice. The question isn't whether people like Marcus exist. They do, thousands of them. The question is, how desperate do you have to be before you start seeing them? If this story changed something in you, if it made you think differently about the person you stepped over this morning, the veteran you ignored at the grocery store, the homeless person you pretended not to see, then hit subscribe. Join our family who believes everyone has a story worth hearing. Share this video right now. Send it to someone who needs to hear it. Drop a comment. Tell me, have you ever been invisible? Or have you ever walked past someone who turned out to be exactly what you needed? Next week, I'm telling you about a janitor at MIT who solved a math equation on a hallway chalkboard that had stumped professors for 2 years. You won't believe how they figured out who did it. Remember, the most valuable person in your life might be the one you've never really seen. Thank you for these 60 minutes. Thank you for staying until the end. Thank you for being the kind of person who believes stories matter. Now go make someone visible. I'm your story buddy. Until next time, keep your eyes open, your heart ready, and remember, everyone you meet is fighting a battle you know nothing about. Be kind, be curious, be willing to see.